Now at 9, $6 billion in federal school funding frozen, and now local districts warn of serious impacts ahead. Plus, a judge in Jasper County sentences an Oklahoma man for his role in a 2024 murder.
Survivors of a deadly fire in an assisted living home here in Massachusetts speak out. I'm Molly Line in Fall River, and I'll have more details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Several districts in the 4 states are trying to rework their budgets after a $6 billion federal grant is withheld. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. These same districts were expecting to have the funds by July 1st, but the U.S. Department of Education has frozen the money to ensure they are in line with President Trump's policies. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, the Pittsburgh School District is warning the loss of these funds could disproportionately hurt low-income families, as well as another vital service that supports students.
It was a sad day.
Ann Lee is the assistant superintendent of Pittsburgh High School. She remembers the day she received a letter stating her school district would no longer receive a vital funding she was promised days earlier. She says the money is vital for students and teachers.
It would be very a monumental task and could at times be overwhelming because of the significant number of needs that the kids have.
A significant number of needs is what this district and several others are going to have if these frozen funds aren't released. Ray Streeter from Northeast School District says he already has plans just in case things don't change.
We'll have to take money from other places in our budget to replace those funds. It's not optimal. We obviously don't want to do that.
Now, Streeter says he can handle the load this time around. However, in Pittsburgh, Lee says these funds will hurt everything from teaching English, retaining teachers, after-school support, and more.
Talking about a significant number of kids that are going to be impacted, along with the teachers who will be in the classroom who need the additional support to help reach them.
We're a high-needs district. We have a pretty high poverty rate. And I know that those funds do come in handy.
Both Street and Lee say they do not understand why this is happening or when it will end.
We're working through and coming up with a plan if they are no longer frozen but not available for us to use.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Pittsburgh schools say if this issue does not get resolved, they're set to lose nearly $550,000. As school officials scramble to adjust their budgets to fall in line with President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill, the SNAP program may also suffer deep cuts. SNAP, or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, provides food benefits to low-income families to supplement their grocery budget so they can afford nutritious food. Experts say cuts to SNAP may have a long-standing impact on children specifically.
SNAP benefits really, in particular, help children to get the healthy food that they need to succeed in school. And we have to remember that if we're cutting SNAP benefits now and children aren't getting what they need to perform at their best in school, this is going to have lifelong implications for those kids and how much income they're going to be able to make as future workers in the United States.
SNAP also provides support to elderly households, to low-income working households, and to other low-income households that include the unemployed or disabled, and to households transitioning from welfare to work.
Well, we've had a few isolated showers and thunderstorms earlier in the afternoon. You can see south of I-44 is where we saw most of these. Now, as we go through the rest of the evening, we don't have any more rain chances. We actually start the morning off with a bit of fog, so this is about 5 to 6 a.m. You can see mainly in southeastern Kansas and north of I-44 out in Missouri. We're going to see a couple of areas that develop some dense fog. That does continue. We also have some pop-up shower chances on Tuesday as well. But that fog does burn off quickly. However, we could see some dense fog down to less than half-mile visibility. Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, out to Oswego. This is 5:30. It sticks around until about 8 to 8:30. Now, for the rest of the day, again, we do have a couple of pop-up storm chances, but temperatures in the low 90s. I'll have those details coming up.
Well, an Oklahoma man learns his fate in connection with a March 2024 homicide in Jasper County. Back in May, Scott Burleson pled guilty to murder in the second degree for his involvement in the murder of a Carl Junction man. And today, a judge sentenced Burleson to life in prison for his role. As part of the deal in May, authorities dropped additional charges against Burleson, including robbery and armed criminal action. The case stems from an incident last March when Jasper County authorities responded to the report of an assault in the area of 7th Street and State Line Avenue. Responders took the victim, Seth Langford of Carl Junction, to a local hospital with severe injuries from an apparent stabbing. Langford later died from his injuries. An investigation found Burleson and Paul Phillips as the primary suspects. Well, Phillips also pleaded guilty to his role in the 2024 murder. As part of the deal, charges were amended to just a charge of unlawful possession of a firearm. He was originally charged with multiple felonies, including first-degree robbery and armed criminal action. Coming up, Trump's warning.
A warning from President Trump to his Russian counterpart now to end the war with Ukraine or else face new U.S. tariffs. I'm Jillian Turner at the State Department. Got those details for you coming up.
But up first, can what you eat increase depression risk? New research on women's health explores this connection.
Yeah.
It's no surprise that what you eat can affect how you feel, and research suggests poor eating habits may increase the risk of depression in certain individuals. Fox News' Sue Guzman has the details.
We are what we eat, and a poor diet just doesn't take a toll on one's physical health, but mental health as well. Researchers are looking into the link between diet and depression in women. According to the latest figures from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, about 16% of women in the U.S. have suffered from depression, and previous studies suggest the risk only goes up for women in a certain age group.
Women who are in midlife are more likely to develop depression compared to men during that same time.
Dr. Holly Jones, an associate professor at The Ohio State University College of Nursing, says premenopausal women ages 40 to 50 years old who consume ultra-processed foods could be more vulnerable to developing the disorder.
Nutrients that were associated with higher risk for depression were sucrose, which is your table sugar or added sugar, and omega-6 linoleic acid, which is basically your vegetable oils.
Jones says the other factors that may play a role include not getting the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night and a lack of exercise to help ward off depression in later life. Jones recommends
advising women within midlife to think about more of a plant-based diet and avoiding ultra-processed foods within their diet.
Jones says women making these lifestyle changes can also help those around them.
They're often going to then translate that into not only the food for themselves, but the food for their children and their husband or partners.
Jones says more research is needed to better understand the connection between diet and depression in midlife women. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
Well, long-term obesity may make young people age faster than normal. A study from Chile looked at adults ages 28 to 31 who had persistent obesity and found that many markers associated with biological aging were accelerated anywhere 15 to 48% compared to people who were not obese. Researchers say there is concern these signs of aging could raise the risk for several chronic health issues. And for people taking popular weight loss drugs, losing muscle is a common side effect. A study presented at the Endocrine Society's annual meeting found eating more protein while taking semaglutide may help prevent muscle loss. Research showed as much as 40% of the weight lost from taking semaglutide comes from lean mass, including muscle. Older adults and women are at a greater risk for muscle loss. Recreational cannabis use is on the rise after more states have legalized the substance. A study published in JAMA looked at the effect of legalization efforts and found after 5 years there was a 3% increase in recreational cannabis use. The study also noted that while there were initial concerns cannabis legalization would also increase cigarette use, that has not happened. Well, Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, persistent rain delays the Midwest planting season, threatening crop yields and farmer profits.
Well, over the weekend, we were pretty mild. We were in the mid-80s, the same for today. But as we head into the rest of the week, we're going to be in the low 90s. Let's go ahead and take a look at our temperature trend so far. Again, today we got to about 86, 87 degrees for most of us. Now Tuesday, low 90s, about 91. Wednesday, 93. We also had a couple of showers today, pop-up showers, pop-up thunderstorms, but non-severe. However, they did stick around, so you can see there's one left out just outside of Miami. Not any thunder, looks like, no lightning, but we did see a bit of rain. Now, downtown Joplin earlier today, most of the area got to have a view like this for the afternoon. A few clouds, but overall not too bad. Now, as we continue into Tuesday, we all see a couple of these pop-up shower chances along and south of I-44 out on the Missouri side, but you can also see our winds are now out of the south-southwest. That's going to bring our temperatures up a few degrees more than what we saw today. As we continue into the rest of the week, by Wednesday morning, we've got another round of showers hitting 3 states. We've got southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and Missouri along and north of I-44. That sticks around for a couple of hours in the morning, and then we're left with some random pop-up storms here and there through the mid-morning hours. Now, winds start to increase as well, so you can see how you can see our winds are gusting up to about 15, 20 miles per hour. Nothing too crazy, but they're gusting ahead of a front that's going to push in later Wednesday evening. Now, this cold front pushes in after about 11 p.m. You can see where our gust front line is. Now, this comes from a downburst winds from a thunderstorm. So that's what the initial impact is as it moves into the area. And you can see these winds are out of the south. As this front pushes further into the area, we've got these northeasterly winds, and then thunderstorms move in at about 3 a.m. on Thursday, continue into the morning hours on Thursday. By 8 a.m., we do still have a couple of these thunderstorms sticking around along that front, and it is going to be making its way towards the Joplin area along I-44 and I-49. Now, that does continue, but it keeps us a bit cooler for Thursday. Until then, we're going to be seeing heat index values in the upper 90s, low hundreds. Tuesday's not too bad. In the afternoon, our actual temperature is about 91. It's going to feel like mid-90s, but out in Novato, so Oklahoma area, upper 90s to even hitting 100. Now, Wednesday is going to be a hot one. All of us have a heat index value at or slightly above 100. And I can see Nowata 106, Independence, Sedan 103, same in Veneta. So we might get a couple of heat advisories out there. Thursday, because of those shower chances, we are dropping down from the early 100s, about 105. We're going to get down to the low hundreds and upper 90s. Now, another round of that heat comes in on Saturday with our actual temperature getting up to the mid-90s, about 94 degrees, but our heat index value for most of us on Saturday is going to be about 105. So we've got a couple of days where we might see some heat advisories issued, a couple of days where we're going to have some thunderstorm chances through the week, just a normal summer forecast.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, if you want to stay ahead of the weather where you live, scan this QR code with your phone and head straight to the updated weather resources page on our website, where you can find information on storm shelters, weather updates, closings, and road conditions. It's called the Weather Resource page on KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, persistent rain in parts of the U.S. is taking a toll on this year's planting season. Fox News' Ted Linder has more.
Too much of anything could do more harm than good. Relentless rain and unseasonably cool temperatures have some farmers and agricultural experts sounding the alarm about delays with this year's planting season.
It's not abnormal to have wet weather at planting. However, this year in 2025, it was more problematic and severe than previous years.
Many farmers, particularly in the Midwest, are working to make up for lost time.
Delayed planting means lower yields. When a farmer suffers, it really can affect the ecosystem of agriculture within the state.
Soggy fields can lead to nutrient loss and an increased risk of disease.
Herbicides may not be able to be sprayed, or they may not be as effective. Slugs are another concern when it's wet and cool.
Growers of the two major crops in the Midwest, corn and soybeans, are concerned about the delays, the impacts to their bottom lines. Data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Ohio Crop Progress Report shows that as of June 2nd, 72% of Ohio's corn were planted. That's behind the 5-year average of 87%, while 77% of soybeans were planted.
Both crops need to be planted around the same time, that mid-April to maybe mid-May timeframe. No one wants to delay planting on purpose, but it happens a lot.
To help push through the rough start, agriculture experts say there are some actions producers can take to manage the immediate and long-term impacts. They include nutrient management, crop selection, and insurance options. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Well, coming up next, from dinosaurs to tech.
Hundreds of items up for auction here at Sotheby's Geek Week, and I'll have details on the most expensive one right here. I'll tell you how much this dinosaur, considered the unicorn of dinosaurs, is expected to fetch.
Dinosaur fossils, tech relics. Sotheby's Geek Week features a lineup of rare treasures up for auction. Fox Business correspondent Lauren Simonetti is there with the details.
This is the most expensive item at Sotheby's Geek Week. It is the juvenile Ceratosaurus. It's expected to fetch $6 million in original condition. Why is it so rare? Well, it's considered the unicorn of dinosaurs because there's only 4 of them in the world, and that is the only juvenile that we know about. It's 150 million years old. Now come with me as we go through this very expensive and rare room through beautiful artifacts, because I wanted to show you something else. It is also very rare. It's the Martian meteorite. It's a 54-pound rock. Here it is. Take a look. Everybody's photographing it. During an asteroid strike, it came off planet Mars, traveled 140 million miles to planet Earth. So this is a piece of Mars, the biggest piece that we know about right here on planet Earth, and this is expected to fetch $4 million. It's stories like these that inspire collectors to dig deep into their wallets.
It's not so much based on hard data and number crunching as it is about understanding nuance and history of these objects. So it's more important to pick something that you're excited about, that you are going to have fun learning about, fun collecting.
At Sotheby's in New York, Lauren Simonetti, Fox Business.
Cool rock to own. Well, sending a letter is now more expensive. The price of a forever stamp has increased by a nickel from 73 to 78 cents. The price has steadily climbed since their original cost of 41 cents in 2007. The Postal Service say the increase is needed to achieve financial stability. The former U.S. Postmaster General previously warned postal customers to get used to uncomfortable rate hikes as the Postal Service seeks to become self-sufficient. Up next, a Kansas program is stepping up to ensure seniors in the Sunflower State have access to nutritious food and support. A Kansas program aimed at putting food on tables for seniors begins today. The program provides eligible seniors with coupons to purchase fresh produce and honey at participating farmers markets across the state. People over the age of 60 who meet income requirements can get 10 $5 vouchers. Seniors in Cherokee County were able to pick up their vouchers at Crossroads Christian Church in Baxter Springs today.
They can be utilized at any farmer's market within Kansas as long as those vendors accept those vouchers. They can utilize them there. It can be used for things such as fresh produce, fresh herbs, and honey.
Eligible seniors must also have an annual gross household income at or below 185% of the federal poverty level. You can learn more on how to apply on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, if you're looking for fun events in the four-state area but don't know where to turn, we've got you covered. Here's a handy QR code that'll take you straight to the events page of our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just scan it with your phone and you'll find information on all kinds of family fun events, including plenty of information on upcoming and ongoing county fairs. The events page at KOAMnewsnow.com. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Deadly fire traps seniors inside a Massachusetts facility. Firefighters say staffing shortages hampered the rescue. And President Trump warns Russia, end your war with Ukraine or face harsh new tariffs. This as the U.S. boosts NATO support.
You're watching the Four States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Flames roared through an assisted living facility in Massachusetts on Sunday, killing at least 9 people and trapping residents inside. And now a Massachusetts firefighters union says inadequate staffing hindered the response. And firefighters in the city say they could have saved more lives with more manpower. Fox News correspondent Molly Line has the latest.
I really thought I was going to die. I thought I would because I thought there was no way out.
Reaction from elderly residents who survived a deadly fire at an assisted living facility in Fall River.
I opened the window as far as I could, and then I hung out the window yelling, "Help, help, second floor."
It was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, people running out everywhere.
About 70 elderly people in various states of health trapped inside the Gabriel House facility as flames and smoke traveled throughout the building. The rescue was complicated.
These are people who were not able to move themselves, and therefore the work that the fire and police and EMS did to get people out was truly amazing.
It's a super labor-intensive and manpower-intensive operation.
About 50 firefighters responded, including 30 who were off duty.
It's horrifying to think about what happened in the middle of the night, to get out through windows, the firefighters coming up ladders, hauling people down in any way possible to get them out of the building, the panic.
Survivors say they're grateful to be alive, but some residents expressed frustration with the staff's efforts during the emergency.
And they left us alone and ran out into the parking lot, and that made me very angry.
Officials are investigating how the fire started. In Fall River, Molly Line, Fox News.
Well, former President Joe Biden is pushing back against Republican criticism over his use of an auto pen device to sign clemency documents at the end of his presidency. Now, Biden told the New York Times that while he used the auto pen to handle the sheer volume of pardons, he made every decision himself. He called critics who question his mental sharpness liars. Republicans, including former President Trump, argue this raises serious questions about who was really in charge, and some allege a cover-up. Biden's former staffers defend him, saying physically signing thousands of documents would be impossible. Meanwhile, the House Oversight Committee continues its investigation with upcoming closed-door depositions from close Biden advisors. A warning from President Trump to his Russian counterpart regarding putting an end to Russia's war with Ukraine, or else there will be consequences. This as the president announced a new deal with NATO, which would send more weapons and air defenses to Ukraine within days. Fox News State Department and Foreign Policy correspondent Jillian Turner has the latest.
We've made a deal today where we are going to be sending them weapons and they're going to be paying for them. We're not buying it, but we will manufacture it and they're going to be paying for it.
President Trump announced a deal for the U.S. to send weapons to NATO to ultimately aid Ukraine, paid for by the alliance. The president also threatened to slap Russia with punishing new tariffs if a peace deal with Ukraine isn't reached over the coming weeks.
I use trade for a lot of things, but it's great for settling wars.
The president made that announcement alongside NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte in Washington at the White House.
So if I was Vladimir Putin today, I would reconsider whether I should not take negotiations about Ukraine more seriously than I was doing at the moment.
Meanwhile, Trump's special envoy to Ukraine and Russia met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv Monday as Russia kept up its drone attacks overnight and into the morning.
The president has been optimistic regarding diplomacy. That has been his commitment. It remains his commitment. But he's also a realist.
Well, these new tariffs would target Russia's trading partners, the idea being to isolate Moscow on the global economy. At the State Department, Jillian Turner, Fox News.
Well, Lindsay's next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, officers.
Flashbangs, guns, SWAT. Those are some of the things that are being taught in the junior deputy camp here at Jasper County Sheriff's Department. I'll have that story for you coming up.
Well, over the weekend we were pretty mild. We were in the mid-80s, the same for today, but as we head into the rest of the week, we're going to be in the low 90s. Let's go ahead and take a look at our temperature trend so far. Again, today we got to about 86, 87 degrees for most of us. Now Tuesday, low 90s, about 91. Wednesday, 93. We also had a couple of showers today, pop-up showers, pop-up thunderstorms, but non-severe. However, they did stick around, so you can see there's one left out just outside of Miami. Not any thunder, looks like, no lightning, but we did see a bit of rain. Now downtown Joplin earlier today, most of the area got to have a view like this for the afternoon. A few clouds, but overall not too bad. Now as we continue into Tuesday, we all see a couple of these pop-up shower chances along and south of I-44 out on the Missouri side, but you can also see our winds are now out of the south-southwest. That's going to bring our temperatures up a few degrees more than what we saw today. As we continue into the rest of the week, by Wednesday morning, we've got another round of showers hitting 3 states. We've got southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and Missouri along and north of I-44. That sticks around for a couple of hours in the morning, and then we're left with some random pop-up storms here and there through the mid-morning hours. Now, winds start to increase as well, so you can see how you can see our winds are gusting up to about 15-20 miles per hour. Nothing too crazy, but they're gusting ahead of a front that's going to push in later Wednesday evening. Now this cold front pushes in after about 11 p.m. You can see where our gust front line is. Now this comes from a downburst winds from a thunderstorm, so that's what the initial impact is as it moves into the area. And you can see these winds are out of the south. As this front pushes further into the area, we've got these northeasterly winds, and then thunderstorms move in at about 3 a.m. on Thursday, continue into the morning hours on Thursday. By 8 a.m., we do still have a couple of these thunderstorms sticking around along that front, and it is going to be making its way towards the Joplin area along I-44 and I-49. Now that does continue, but it keeps us a bit cooler for Thursday. Until then, we're going to be seeing heat index values in the upper 90s, low hundreds. Tuesday's not too bad. In the afternoon, our actual temperature is about 91. It's going to feel like mid-90s, but out in Nowata, so Oklahoma area, upper 90s to even hitting 100. Now, Wednesday is going to be a hot one. All of us have a heat index value at or slightly above 100. And I can see Nowata 106, Independence, Sedan 103, same in Veneta. So we might get a couple of heat advisories out there. Thursday, because of those shower chances, we are dropping down from the early 100s, about 105. We're going to get down to the low hundreds and upper 90s. Now, another round of that heat comes in on Saturday with our actual temperature getting up to the mid 90s, about 94 degrees, but our heat index value for most of us on Saturday is going to be about 105. So we've got a couple of days where we might see some heat advisories issued, a couple of days where we're going to have some thunderstorm chances through the week, just a normal summer forecast.
Summer and hot. All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, there is a flood watch in effect for Kerr County, Texas, complicating the search, rescue, and recovery efforts in the area. The death toll across Texas from the July 4th flash flooding has reached 139. No survivors were found last week, and 166 people are still missing. The Kerr County Sheriff says the efforts will continue for as long as needed. And officials say there is a plan to possibly drain a lake to look for victims. Still ahead, 8 of Major League Baseball's best power hitters prepare for the Home Run Derby. Plus, Missouri Southern hosts a youth basketball camp. Ben McLeish has those stories and more up next in sports.
Missouri Southern is hosting a youth basketball camp at Robert Ellis Young Gymnasium this week. The 2-day camp is designed for kids between the ages of kindergarten to 8th grade. The focus is to improve campers' basketball fundamentals and develop a love for the game. For the coaches and players, it is all about giving back and being a role model for the younger generation.
Well, that's the most important thing, especially with kids this age. They need to fall in love with the game of basketball. The main goal of our camp is to get them to come back next year because they had a blast. And we always talk about being a great teammate. We always talk about always improving and learning from your mistakes and then giving your absolute best effort. When you can do those 5 things, you're going to have a great day, and we had a great day today.
I remember being a kid, being in their shoes and looking up to guys like us, that play college basketball and do things that I aspire to do one day. So I know how important it is to these kids, so it means a lot to us too. I know how important a coach can be, or even just a mentor in basketball, just telling you how to have fun with it, not to take it too serious, because at the end of the day, it is a kid's game.
Well, yesterday, the Royals and Cardinals made their selections in the first 3 rounds of the 2025 MLB Draft. With the 6th pick in the draft, the St. Louis Cardinals select Liam Doyle, lefty pitcher out of Tennessee. He posted a 3.2 ERA in his only season with the Vols. And today, they load up on pitchers, taking Cade Crossland and Ethan Young in the 4th and 5th rounds. 2 more guys who pitched at the collegiate level. In the next round, the Redbirds select an outfielder, Matthew Miura, out of Hawaii. The Royals have 2 picks in the first round, and they take 2 guys out of high school. KC selects Sean Gamble with the 23rd pick, second baseman out of IMG Academy in Florida. And with the 28th pick, the Royals pick up Josh Hammond, third baseman from North Carolina. But Kansas City takes players with college experience today, like Nolan Sailors from Creighton with their first pick, and Aiden Jimenez out of Arkansas in the 5th round. It'll be a while until we see any of those players on the Major League roster, but tonight the Home Run Derby is underway. As we go live, we're in the final round. Cal Raleigh went first. He hit 18 homers, and Junior Caminero is going to try to beat that for $1 million. But over in the Mink League yesterday, the Clarinda A's stole a win from the Griffins with the 4-run 9th inning. With yesterday's loss, Nevada is tied for last place in the league, and they'll remain at the bottom for another day. The A's shut out Nevada 8-0 for the Griffins' 8th loss in a row. They've got a doubleheader with the Mustangs tomorrow, where they'll try to put an end to that streak.
It'd at least be nice to end the season on a positive note for the Nevada Griffins.
Yeah, they
need to start winning again.
Yeah, they've got a couple of games left to kind of end the season on a stronger note.
Yeah, a positive note. Look forward to next year, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, we're back with more news after this. Guns, SWAT, and jail. These are some of the topics kids are learning about during the Jasper County Sheriff Junior Deputy Camp. KOAM's Ty Parks brings us the story.
I wanted to see what different jobs had to offer, what other jobs had to offer.
Junior Deputy Jacob Hoffman wants to know what it's like to be a police officer. So, at the Junior Deputy Camp hosted by Jasper County Sheriff's Department, he is learning about firearm safety and special weapons and tactics.
Oh, that was pretty cool. Like seeing all the gadgets and all the stuff they have, break into houses and save people.
The 4-day camp is designed to give kids an overview while keeping it fun and engaging.
No matter how old you are, ain't nobody likes to sit in a class and be bored by PowerPoint. So we try to keep it hands-on. Actually learning and moving and doing stuff, seeing the stuff that they wouldn't normally see, being able to interact with the officers one-on-one, getting to see the dog actually work up close instead of just, as they're driving by and seeing a dog working and wondering what they're doing. They're getting to actually see how that dog works and why that dog works the way it does.
But ultimately, they want the kids to know there are humans behind the badge.
Law enforcement's not a bad thing. I just hope they realize that we are real people too. We just got a job to do like any other job. We have good days and bad days just like everybody else, and they just see that we're people.
With 1 day complete, Jacob Hoffman has hope for the next 3 days.
To learn a better understanding about the police force and how they do their job. They do it really well, so I'm just hoping to learn more about their job.
Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Well, the main focus of the camp is to provide a fun way to show campers that police are people too. Well, the live action How to Train Your Dragon lands for home release tomorrow. Up next, we take you behind the scenes with star Mason Thames and director Dean DeBlois. The hit live action How to Train Your Dragon becomes available to rent or buy tomorrow while it continues its run in theaters. And we spoke with the star Mason Thames and the director about reimagining the fan favorite. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
These beasts are a threat to all of our lands
After flying high at the box office, How to Train Your Dragon is landing at home. The live-action take on the beloved animated classic is available to buy or rent on digital, with over 75 minutes of bonus content.
When Universal decided that they were considering a live-action version, I immediately put my hand up and said, consider me, even though I haven't made a live-action movie, because I know where the heart is, and I know these characters in this world very well. So I can preserve the wonder, I can preserve the emotion of it.
Director Dean DeBlois was determined to build on the legacy while delivering something fresh.
Yeah, I think we just tried to make it that much more immersive because we tried to make it feel like a real place with an overall grounded reality. There is just something that feels much more nuanced to the heart when you see these human actors carrying out this story in a very convincing reality.
DeBlois and his creative team built massive sets and used puppeteer dragons to make the world of Berk feel real.
They built every single set you see in that movie. They built the arena, they built the whole village, the workshops, everything. So every day I'd walk on set and I would be in Berk, which is it was always so surreal.
I decided I don't want to fight dragons.
For Mason Thames, taking on the role of Hiccup meant stepping into the shoes of a childhood hero.
You know, okay, I remember the original, everybody does, it's so iconic, and okay, now how do I bring that to life but also do my version of it? Kind of a sadness and a loneliness and a darker side, you know, so that was a fun.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, you can also own How to Train Your Dragon on 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray when it hits shelves August 12th. That's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of the pygmy hippo Moodang at the Thailand Zoo celebrating her first birthday. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.